Hello the channel, welcome back everyone. Firstly, before we go through the weekend stuff, the famous Glasgow Celtic winning the Champions League. Yes! If you're running a Feyenoord stack, get it right up, yes! Come on! Anyway, that's an important win for Celtic. 2 million in the bank, monkey off the back. Bit of confidence going into the weekend as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, what's happening? I think there'll be too many rewards midweek, but you never know. Always sneak one out. I think something bubbling away in the under 23s. Before we go through the weekend stuff, I will be coming back with a video for the giveaway for Boxing Day. So I've got the thumb and everything sorted. We'll have some news in that the weekend, and then we'll get it drawn and everything by next weekend and before Christmas. I can't believe it's nearly Christmas, honestly. I'm just waffling now in the middle of your screen. Fantastic night at Celtic Park. Also want to say thanks very much to Quinny and Sorare for the tickets. So initially I was supposed to be going to the game and Quinny couldn't make it, so a couple of the tickets available there as well, which was absolutely brilliant. So if you're a Celtic fan, you didn't go to the game, hang your fucking head in shame. Absolutely brilliant game. Diddies, man. I think, to be fair, stadium was pretty packed, so there we go. So on that theme, let's have a wee look. Move me to my usual place, away out the road. Playsharper. So this got to be a wee bit of a tricky call on defence and everything for this weekend. So pretty good home game. I mean, Hearts are no mugs, but I would be expecting a home win. There we go. So I can expect it would beat Kilmarnock last weekend as well, but that's another point. Joe Hart, well, big man was a wee bit upset after the game last night. I think he really wanted to just make an arse of it and have his usual 15 score, but he put in a bit of AA, so he was greeting at the end. I'm not kidding. I think he realised that that's probably his last Champions League game with Celtic, so who knows what his plans are. I don't think even if he would be at Celtic next season, he'll be number one. I think Celtic will be investing in a goalkeeper, but you know, I think age-wise, he still has a few seasons left in him, so maybe an LMLS stint, wee championship stint, whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens for him. But this weekend, 95%. Alistair Johnson, Greg Taylor. I thought 90% was quite apt. I mean, Celtic do have a free midweek next week, so you know both of them played last night. Johnson played pretty well actually, better than his Sorare score, I would have said. Taylor doesn't seem to get rotated at all, although you can see from his scores, I think he's been fairly mince this season. Last night as well, watching the game, he was playing a wee bit more in the inverted role again, but that does expose Celtic a wee bit down the left-hand side. And I think the only problem he's got in that role is that he's not athletic enough to play in the middle of the pitch and then get back, or maybe even we miss Maeda a wee bit, which we'll come back to in a minute. Carter Vickers in at 55%. Well, Stephen Welsh was excellent, and then Lagerbielke came on, had a clearance off the line and scored a goal. So that's a tough call. I think we're waiting in a press conference from Brendan. I think Vickers is fit, and in all honesty, I expect to see him back in the team soon. He is Celtic's best defender, although this guy Scales is giving him a run for his money. Big Scaldini, as we call him. I'll tell you what, I've seen a few Celtic fans mention Liam Scales, and they should hang their head in shame as well, because he was absolutely foot perfect last night. He was brilliant. What a performance the guy put in, under a lot of pressure against a good team as well, on the ball, but he was brilliant. Callum McGregor as well. I mean, sometimes he gets a wee bit of stick as well, but towards the end of that game when we conceded, he was a real driving force, hit the bar, and he really reacted like a captain should, which is really important. Matt O'Reilly, what can we say about this guy? I mean, like the whole stadium's totally buzzing, and you know the atmosphere and this thing with the monkey on our back and the Champions League wins, and he gets the ball and just I'm just going to float it onto somebody's head at the back post. So unbelievable player. Thankfully signed a 5-year deal. I don't think he's going anywhere in January. Touch wood. I'm hopeful he's not going anywhere in the summer as well, but I think they'll be interested in him. But that's Challenger for you, right? Joey Veerman's been leaving PSV for about 3 seasons. Paulo Bernardo, then I've got Turnbull and Odom home. Well, I've ruled out Awata here, came off injured. I just don't see him making this weekend. So there we go. Maeda's back in training. I think Rogers made a comment about him perhaps making Hearts, so it'd be really good to see him back in. I do think, from a defensive perspective, we miss a bit of protection there. Furuhashi, again, got me 85%. O's been playing some of the domestic stuff recently. I thought Furu looked quite sharp last night. He did miss a few chances, but I see the team was fine and with some of those passes, etc., that maybe we weren't before. Feyenoord are a good team, and Celtic did open them up quite a lot at the start of the game, in particular as well. So it's good to see us creating chances. And Luis Palma put 90%. Usually he's higher than that. I mean, I think I've pretty nailed that position, but he did have a sort of facial injury, so he doesn't have cards, but I guess it has an effect on who else might play. So got Awata down as injured. I'm not sure what's happened with him just now. We need news on that, but I don't think he'll make the weekend. Leila Bada should be back in training soon. Rio Hitati have left as questionable because I think he's appeared in training, but I don't think he's ready. And I think Maeda's probably still questionable, but we've got him in the lineup. So from that point of view, hey ho. We had a quick look at this earlier on in the week, but there are some standouts here. So we're talking about Feyenoord, and they seem to have one of the best fixtures this weekend. Quite interested in that. Heracles. So clean sheet percentage quite high. What I would say about Feyenoord is a really good technical team, but Celtic opened them up quite a lot, and probably more than they opened up Kilmarnock, for example. So I'm not saying that Feyenoord have got a Kilmarnock defence or whatever, but he did have the Tanko, who looked really good, to be honest. And then Geertruida is a really good player as well, but he was getting forward quite a lot, which is quite interesting. But his big team goals, 2.79. He did take off Stengs, so it looks like he's well rested for the weekend, so he'd be a good selection, I think. Ajax against Zola. Celtic pretty high up there as well, which is good. Real Madrid, that doesn't surprise me. Villarreal have been a bit leaky. Liverpool against Manchester United. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over this because we've already had a look at it earlier on in the week. What I'm going to do now is filter the players to my players. Again, if people are looking at this, what the hell is this spreadsheet with all these numbers, etc.? This is from Egal. Sorare probabilities, S_probabilities on Twitter. If you want to try it, he'll give you a free trial of it as well because he's a nice guy and he wants to make sure that if you're going to use it and you're going to subscribe to every month, you know what you're doing, etc. So interestingly, Paulo Bernardo pretty high in the projected scores, which is kind of interesting. He hasn't really done any really or put in any really good scores for Celtic so far, but he's well capable of that. So I guess he might be a reasonable cap punt from that point of view. Reece James is back being injured again, so back to his usual place of the treatment table. As I was saying, this is totally off the beaten track, but I think he'll be the first ever guy, if they invent bionic hamstrings, to get a bionic hamstring. Be like the Bionic Man, they'll be running about with like a metallic hamstring or something. But I mean, it's just a shame, he looks like a really top level player, but it looks like he's been hampered by all that stuff. So there we go. Arda Güler, again, is kind of more of a rotation player. Amadou Onana, kind of interesting. Geertruida, so yeah, a guy who impressed me. I thought he was pretty good actually. Schlotterbeck was on the bench for Dortmund. It was kind of interesting. I wonder why that was. Wesley Fofana, I guess he's kind of back in training now, so still says cruciate ligament injury, but back in training, I think. Cole Palmer, pretty interesting one. Matt Swifer as well. I thought when he came on, he looked pretty good as well. Good player. Feyenoord had quite a few good players actually, so there we go. Good result for Celtic. Nicholas Madsen, guy obviously I really like myself. Would recommend them. Not that expensive these days. Florian Wirtz, if you can afford, absolutely brilliant. Julian Alvarez was rested, etc. as well. So in terms of players, it's pretty interesting. John Pickford, pretty high up in the expected score, so that's good for the old EPL comp. And I say we'll be back with the video with an announcement on what we're going to do for that. Jordi Petrovic, so he's quite an interesting one too. Coming in for, what do you call him? The guy that plays for Chelsea and goals, it's crap. Robert Sanchez. Alisson, so he's available now, which is pretty good. Bernd Leno, seems to put up some really like high scores in general, actually, which is quite good. Um, Having a look through the other positions, so Celtic, Celtic are a wee bit down the list now, but 65 etc. is still pretty good in terms of a projected score, right? So yeah, that's not to be ignored. I think it was when I seen this first time I was looking for Matt O'Reilly as well. Where is he? So he's in at 64, so still a pretty high projected score. Just not quite as high as maybe it was for some of the other ones. That maybe just reflects that Hearts are better than some of the other opposition we've played. Michael Johnson actually pretty high up. Joey Veerman, well, he missed midweek, so I don't know about his fitness. Again, they're playing AZ, so that's quite interesting. Fabian Rees, guy who starting to drop a wee bit in price now. He was doing a really smashing run of form, but that's pretty interesting. So probably have him in a limited somewhere. Berardi back after suspension. Florian Wirtz, love the guy. Cersei, I think today they're saying that he's probably going to want to stay at Leverkusen next season to get a crack at the Champions League. So good on him. So let's pick some teams. So right, Pro. Been waffling on for 10 minutes already. So this is interesting now this week because we've got all these different selections. So Julep Pro League special weekly with some signed jerseys, etc. That's pretty interesting. Not really a competition I would make one of my first choices, but if it was SPFL or whatever, then I might make it more of a first choice. Premier League's winter special. Let's have a look at that first. We'll build our first choice team. There'll be a Liverpool stack in here, I would imagine, as well. But why don't we pick one based on the spreadsheet? So, let's see. This is where I need to actually work out what today, which is usually the problem. English Premier League. So yeah, this is one of the versatilities of the spreadsheet. Look at that. Press a button, everything all does stuff in the background. Then you just get it filtered. So yeah, Jordan Pickford, that's a pretty obvious one, right? 54 cap cost, so not the most kind cap cost, but against Burnley, and it does look like Everton are sort of doing pretty well now. So defender wise, Big Verge, he'll be in the Liverpool stack, I'd imagine. Although I might not be able to fit him and Trent in, so that's kind of interesting. I'd imagine Trent will be up for it against Man United. So this is the last 15 as well. So I'm kind of having a look down here and see what the last 15 is like as well, right? Because we want to find some value for the cap. This is a 270 competition. So Reece James, these hamstrings. Bofana, Badishile, Ruben Diaz. We're pretty 50 average actually. That's quite interesting. I'm sure he'll be back in. Kanate, not sure he'll play. John Stones, reasonable cap cost there as well. I don't have any Everton defender. Well, I do have Keane, but he's not really nailed to play or anything. Saliba, kind of interesting as well. Pedro Porro's on sets just now, so he's always quite an attractive pick there as well. Anyway, I'm procrastinating about this too much. We even ended up back in the Celtic lineup. If I do put in like a 67 or whatever here, like a Trent, then it does mean that I'm going to have to make some concessions elsewhere. Ruben Diaz, I imagine, will be in a Man City stack of some description, but that will probably be in Champion. No offence to Crystal Palace fans and Big Alex Harry as well. Sorry, mate. I don't really have any good defender options here in terms of lower down. But John Stone's an interesting one. It's just that it's this Pep Roulette thing, right? You're dealing with Pep Roulette. I'm going to put in Porro. He's been excellent recently, so I'm going to put him in, and it still leaves us with a cap cost of 52, so that's it's not too bad. Right, midfielder. Amadou Onana, Cole Palmer. That's interesting. So last 15 cost of 49, estimated score 69. So that is, I'm just clicking the wrong screen again. Deary me. Now, Cole Palmer is an older card as well. Sheffield United. So what that means is that I need to pick 2 new season cards now. with a cap cost average of 53 because you need 4 for this. So forward wise, Alvarez is an older season card I've got Salah, Jack Harrison. So that's a pretty good selection. Although I think I've only got his rare actually. May as well just filtering it down at this stage and just. So what I've done there, I've changed it to limited because I'm still doing the limited teams just now. So Gakpo, not sure if he'll start or not. Kulusevski, quite interesting one. Cunha, although he's got a last 15 of 54 project scores 52. So yeah, suppose that's kind of interesting. Martinelli, see if there's anybody near up top. Danjuma, don't think he really plays that much. Haaland probably going to be out, so Alvarez will play, but that means he can't play Cole Palmer there. Kulusevski's probably a good shout, especially if we're going to play. I wonder why I keep doing that. And that leaves an average cap cost of 57. So what we can do here is project score last 15 and last 15 minimum. Max left 15, average score 57. Type. Pick. Why is Salah there? Said 57. I don't know why that's what. Minimum. No, that's minimum. Jesus. I pressed the wrong buttons because I am incompetent. There we go. So what I want to do is pick an outfielder here for the last position. So I can't be a goalkeeper. Reece James, Nathan Ake, Keane, Kanate, John Stones, Andy Robertson's not fit yet. I don't think anybody's really sticking out defender-wise there. Midfield, De Bruyne is not fit yet. Højbjerg's kind of in and out. Reasonable Alexis McAllister score there. Lo Celso's injured, I think. So that probably means somebody else is going to be playing in the midfield for Spurs. Probably better if I try and fit in Son. But then I've got, see, this is where you start getting dilemmas, right? Affordable only. This is where you start getting dilemmas. Gabriel Martinelli, maybe a wee injury. Cunha. So West Ham have been a bit leaky recently, so that's kind of interesting. Trippier injured's a bit of a pain in the backside. Cunha has been on really good form, must admit. Taking far too much time over this bloody selection. Anyway, CPL and all that. Balls. I'm just gonna play Cunha. So there we go. And Cole Palmer, I think, was up about the highest there in terms of he's on the pens and things, so we'll make him El Capitano. So there we go. That's one selection done. This one, so we'll have another chat about this stuff for the reward box special. So particularly the prize pool. I mean, there's a couple of things I like here, right? So one thing to point out this weekend, you play the Cap 240 Limited. The card rewards have been moved to this reward box special. So that's where this limited star and this rare tier 3 comes from. To be honest, if you're playing limited and you can win a rare tier 3, that's not too bad. It's not quite the jackpot prizes, but that's not too bad. So it's something to go at. And then also you've got these limited premium boxes where you have a chance at these. So if you're finishing in the top, is it 1,000 positions? Let me see. So premium box is for top 1,000. So everybody's got a chance, and it's a really small chance of star, 1% chance of tier 1. The biggest chance is 3 level ups, which is quite interesting. So they're giving away something different. See what the attraction to that is. That's quite a good boost to your cards and stuff, So they're giving out a lot of level ups. So I guess the downside of that is, everybody's scores are going to be going up as well if you don't win something. But it's I think that's a reasonably valuable thing to win, and 15% chance of tier 3. Another thing here is I've taken out tier 4s and 5s as well. I know there's been a bit of whinging. I've also made some feedback to Sorare about introducing the DNPs and all that sort of stuff too. So, that's something they've got to get a handle on. So what we're going to do here is, I'm not going to pick a 270 there. We've picked a 270 already, but that's an additional tournament, and you get a 270 as well. So it's an extra tournament. I'm glad to see Sorare doing some stuff in terms of trying it. I don't mind that at all, to be honest. So under 23 limited, take out the max cap again, and then all leagues. So I'm just reverting this back to the starter spreadsheet so that we can just do some under 23 selections. So there's nobody really stands out with a really high score in terms of goalkeeper. So this is going to be interesting. So my bog standard, who am I going to go for, is going to go back to Trubin, I think. Just pressing the wrong buttons again. Braga are a pretty capable team, but Benfica, at some point will hit form. Toby Lyson's been excellent, by the way, so pretty interesting. Leeds are pretty good at home too. Zian Suzuki, STVV, VVVV. STV are a pretty exciting team, but don't keep many clean sheets. What we're saying about a defender here, Nico Schlotterbeck, will he come back in after being rested? Quite high in the projected score, so that's interesting. Sike, quite high in the Pedro Porro, although I'll probably be using him in the EPL thing. So Hugo Sike is quite interesting there. Oh, why did I keep pressing the wrong button? What a fucking idiot, honestly. Anyway, I'm going to go with that, actually. That's kind of interesting. Midfield, you've got to have a Matt O'Reilly in there, right? Cole Palmer I've used. Bernardo's not certain. Solomon's kind of injured. Phil Foden's an interesting one as well. Press the right button this time. Foden probably been my Man City champion stack, I'd imagine. So, Matthew O'Reilly, Big Matt. What an absolute top shagger, honestly. Phenomenal. Forward, Virch, Rodrigo, Vinicius is injured, so Rodrigo probably going to play. So we go Virch. Then we're going to go Haaland's injured, I think, as well. So saying he might be back, but Rodrigo's been brilliant. And then we'll do something criminal and I'll not captain Matt O'Reilly. Sorry, Matt, been talking you up there, but we Virtue. Forward card as well. If you can get one of these, get it. That is a piece of advice I'm going to give you, honestly. If you can get one, just bloody well get one. Because it's unlikely he's going to get forward cards minted. You never know, his position could change later on, but I would just try and get one. We need to do the token Celtic team. Not saying this is always optimal, but we're going to go Celtic and Challenger. That's just the way it is, right? Don't want to see Celtic cards on the channel, then piss off to somebody else's channel. Joe Hart. Defender-wise, I think it kind of makes sense where I've got the option here just to play Scales. He's been scoring well, tempted by Vickers, but, I think, I'll be playing him in the higher echelons, if you call them. That's too fancy a word for this, close to Christmas. The higher divisions, echelons. Competition, if you can you can spell echelons, you win a card. I'm looking, that's just a joke. That's not competition. Don't anybody hold me to that. Midfield, it's got to be Matt O'Reilly. There's no real choice there. I just got to play him. Just, obviously, Harry Kane would say. Up front, it's looking a bit sparse in Challenger. Well, certainly for Mullen. So, yeah, it's got to be Furuhashi. We've seen the predictions, so there we go. And then, Captain Fantastic, Callum McGregor. I mean, he's been really good. So yeah, I think it's kind of got to go along this way. In terms of what's going to happen for the game, highest projected score. I mean, Scales has been really strong. I think we'll probably score a few goals. Shanklin's always dangerous, so I'm inclined to go more attacking captain. So I will. And that's that decision made. Alright. Under 23 Rare Plus, I always like picking this. Quite interesting one this weekend as well. So, just moving my baldy noggin out of the way. This guy, by the way, Andreas Jungdahl, has been absolutely amazing. What's his projected score? Filter to rare. Just Cremonese, just keep keeping. They keep a lot of clean sheets. Quite surprised that Kemen's so low down in the estimated clean sheets there. He's been good recently. Zian Suzuki is quite high up there actually, so that's pretty interesting. Although he's a hit or misser, they could easily just concede 4 or whatever, that's Jungdahl 50. There's nobody really sticking out, so I think it's it's a bit of feel there in terms of who do you want to hang your hat on. I have listed Zach Kemen as well. Just one of those things. I thought I'd need him for this spell over Christmas. He is on loan from Middlesbrough, so he's on loan to the end of the season. A lot of games coming up. He's risen since I bought the 1 out of 100, so maybe I'll turn him over. Messley is interesting at home. He was in good form the last game, so that's kind of interesting. Jorgensen, Real Madrid, probably not. Benfica are a funny team, they're just they flatter to deceive a lot. And the point with Trubin is he does get a really good AA. I'm going to go. Shut up. Made my decision. I'm going to go Trubin. Right, Sugawara. Do we think Sugawara can do his business against PSV? We're going to filter a super rare here, so we've got a decision to make picking a super rare here. So, we Frimmers. Now, there's an interesting one, so we could avoid PSV. I mean, PSV are awesome. I just can't see AZ keeping a clean sheet. Also, Matty Ryan's injured as well, which would be a bit of a setback for them. So, Sugawara's score's actually pretty low, which is surprising, but also kind of understandable as well. So, we could do this. Matt O'Reilly, so midfield wise, Madsen and El Canusk right up there, both of them. Canusk has got a game tonight actually. Interesting. They don't really rotate him much though. They honestly don't really rotate him much. O'Reilly, I'm going to hang fire on this. I may well move him back in here, but that's going to be a call depending on where I'm using them higher up. They'll go with Madsen with a high. I think I'll keep him for a cap or something. I'm going to play Canusk. But he has got a game tonight, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on the selection side of things in terms of, maybe chances of rotation, etc. there as well. Need to be a bit careful of that. L forwards, missing Doku already. Balik Wisha, I think, missed the Antwerp game as well. That's a shame too. But, so we go Rodrigo. And then who else is standing? So I can play O'Reilly as well, actually. There we go. There's a decision made there. So that lets me get in O'Reilly and play these guys as well. So there, made another decision. Right, I've been waffling on for half an hour here. I think I better shut up soon. Otherwise we'll be here all night. It's dark outside and everything. People are telling me to shut up. No, they're not. That's just my wife, actually. It's just my wife. Don't blame her. The hell, half an hour, we've only picked how many lineups we picked? We only picked 4 lineups. Jesus. Anyways, kind of interesting. In the Premier League Winter Special, I'm going to be running the Liverpool stack. No offence, Man United fans, but I do call you Man U shited as well. Pretty interesting under 23 limit. A lot of these guys are pretty expensive, but Hugo's CK is not, so maybe somebody you can add. Challenger stack we have discussed. And I quite like this under 23s actually. I'll see if Frimpong gets any game time against Molde, but hopefully he'll get a wee rest. Canusk usually plays Touchwood, but I'll check Playsharper on that and then I'll pick some more lineups. So in terms of what's happening next, we will get involved with the Boxing Day giveaway. I've picked that deliberately. I love the EPL over Christmas and stuff. I just think it's just really good. There's nothing better than just been slightly hungover. What am I going to do now? There's no work. Yeah, I'll just have another beer and I'll just watch football. Yes, come on. Then the wife asks for the TV. No, you're not getting the fucking telly. There's 4 games on today and I'm going to watch every single one of them. Aye, so it's that kind of thing. Hopefully everybody will understand that. Also, the other thing I think is that a lot of these leagues, like Dutch League, I enjoy these leagues now, but they're all taking a break. So, the Boxing Day stuff takes extra importance just because, it's the main show and everything as well. So there we go. So I'm going to stop waffling now. There we go. We've done some lineup building. We've went through Playsharper. We've given some suggestions via the projected scores. If you're playing this weekend, good luck and go fuck. If you're getting drunk this weekend, make sure you come home alive from your Christmas party. And I hope you've all got a sore head, and we'll be in touch again soon with all the information for the giveaway.